Jonty, you finished 38-18 against Halifax here at Bellevue this afternoon. You've just been looking at what's a very good surface here at Bellevue. 14-0 up, 14-6 up at the break. 38 unanswered points before Rio gets his late try. It was a difficult afternoon in the end up.
Total turnaround from last week, wasn't it? We were talking about 30 unanswered points for us last week because we'd done the right thing. We didn't do the right thing today, and they put a few points on us. But disappointing how we were. Maybe it started getting a bit fast towards the back end of that first half. We talked about at half time regarding what got us in that position to get that 14-0 lead, and we were good, and we just went away from it and talked about getting a fair share of the ball. We did in the first half and going leading, but second half, I would say they had 10-11 sets more than us in that second half. In the first 15 minutes, we give a penalty away, and we give another penalty away at the score, and we don't see the ball. And given the team like that, it was, to be fair, like I said before the game, false position in my eyes, and they've just proved they've got a bit of quality. But that's because we let them play like that. We couldn't have been any worse if we tried. I think that's possibly, I'm going to say it's up there with our worst 40 minutes that second half. Errors, they scored in the next set, so we're not defending our errors like we have been. I don't know, we didn't put a good defensive set until 30 minutes into that second half, which the game's dead and buried, and we rolled our sleeves up 30 minutes in, and Lewis kicking from his 40 rather than kicking on our 10 after the yardage set, you know what I mean? So, tough afternoon, mate, but they've got to have a look at themselves regarding how we performed today. That's just not up to standard, mate. We've got standards to keep, and that's far from it.
You mentioned you've got standards to keep, and you're saying that in the opening sort of 20-25 minutes, and that's why you were 14-0 up. It seemed to be a performance where your halves were in control. The Halifax halves weren't able to be in control, and it seemed to be when Halifax had a little bit of worry that they went down to 12 men, that seemed to galvanise them, and it just seemed to completely change the game. Joe Keys gets the try at the back end of the first half when they're still down to 12. In the second half, it was just like your side come out and played like they hadn't played with each other before. It was a complete Jekyll and Hyde performance.
Yeah, 100% it was. I mean, they would go down to 12 men. What was it, 26 minutes in, something like that. And the next three sets we didn't complete. After the penalty, we were 14-0 up, and the lad got sin-binned. The next set we just didn't complete, trying to overplay what's in front of you. And we got in that lead by sticking to what we know. And when we played square, their middles, we were standing up a bit, and we got our tries, but we just, I don't know. But so when a team goes down to 12 men, you've got to complete your sets even more. And the next 3 times we had the ball, we didn't do that. They got a bit of an opportunity to try towards the back end of the first half, give them a bit of a leg up. We talked about being really good in that second half at half time and not inviting them in, and we're doing everything in our power to invite them in, you know what I mean, uncharacteristic mistakes by a few lads, and when we were heading up, we couldn't defend it, and yeah, just got away from us, mate. A big style, really, like.
And what do you say there at the end as a coach when you've seen the sort of second half like that, but you've seen the performance you did in the first half? You must have been up in that back of that stand. You must have been ripping your hair out at some of the things you were seeing in that second half. What can you say? Do you go in shouting and bawling, or do the lads know where they've gone wrong, and it's about trying to see where you can put it right?
I talked at half time. They were saying all the right things, but it's about, as soon as you get on the grasses, mate, it's about actions, innit? And talking's all good, but we didn't back it up. We didn't do them actions, and that's what disappointed here. We haven't been that team so far this year. We've stuck in every game. We've been in it right to the end most games, but we've done the right thing. Teams have outplayed us, you know what I mean. But today we just give them that much ball in good areas, knocking on our back 2 or 3 times, knocking on just off stone cold carries, you know what I mean. Just no pressure, unforced errors, and then they just broke us down. I think Charlie Gray must be half Superman where he played today, down our right edge. I think we just couldn't cope with him. He was that strong. Which you go on into a collision with 2 defenders against 1 attack, and you're coming off worst off as a defender, and that's just not good enough, Jordan. It's maybe a one-off by certain players today. I don't know. It needs to be, because there's not much cavalry coming, mate. So we've got to fix things up, and we've got to be better than what we've been today, and yeah, I'm disappointed, very disappointed, because I know that's not us there, but it's in the backside a bit today, and fair play for Fax for putting us to the sword a bit.
You mentioned there's not much cavalry coming in. You had a little bit of disruption, obviously, during that. Jamie Dornan slipped during the warm-up, and while he did take the field, he seemed to be out there on one leg, just doing a job for yourself to try and spell James Newton. When you're sort of losing it, an interchange like that, it's never going to be easy. But you so often remark in previous weeks how sometimes you don't even use all your bench, so it sort of swings and roundabouts. You mentioned the lack of cavalry coming in. You've mentioned for previous weeks, and we've just mentioned there on the radio, you're hoping to bring some forwards in, but the parent club's just a little bit reluctant to let them go due to injuries, which obviously is their prerogative and well within rights to do. But when you're trying to fetch reinforcements in and it's just getting knocked down, sort of down to 17 today, it can be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, there's some forwards sort of lined up. That's maybe been good to go maybe next week after, but we're looking at that and the injuries we picked up today. Like I said, Jammer, if we'd had 18th man, that would have been, we'd have kicked that in, because Jammer shouldn't have played. Don't know what Lockie's like, don't know what Will Evans is like to pick knocks up today, so we could be a bit light in the back department, because obviously we've got Eddie to come back in, but that's Gideon's second week with us. We'll have to try and see what we can do with Gideon and get him on another couple of weeks. But that's something for me to look at for the other week. What I'm going to have to look at first off is how that second half panned out on video, mate, and try and get to the bottom of why we were like that today. No excuses really. Yes, we busted as a squad, but we go 14-0 up away from home. So if we're good enough to go 14-0 up away from home after 26 minutes, whatever it was, what happens the rest of the 3 quarters of the game? You know what I mean? It just wasn't good enough, was it?